Hello, everyone. I think I'm here. Am I here? It's Mary Cronert. Hello, hello, from the Living Room Community Art Studio. Back with another Wednesday live stream, art hangout, art jam, virtual art hive, whatever you like to call it. I'm here to make art and hang out for the next hour and a half. And you're welcome to hang out along with me. You can make art with me if you like, or you can just listen, watch, do whatever feels right for you. Hello, Shelley. Good day. Good day to you too, Shelley. It's good to see you here. My apologies for starting a little late today. Had some technical issues. It's been one of those weeks, a lot of technical glitches here, there, and everywhere. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you see me, Shelley. That's one of the things I was going to ask. Um, I suppose am I here is kind of an existential question as well. It's been one of those weeks too. So, you know what? Let's open up the floor for conversation about how we are doing in these strange times. Sandra, oh, hello. Oh, well, Sandra, thanks so much. I miss the good times too at the studio. I'm hoping people are having good times wherever they might be at. I do send out all my love to everyone who is self isolating, everyone who is perhaps not feeling their best. I send out all my love and gratitude to all the folks who are helping keep our communities moving forward and on track, including communities in other countries, because we do have guests who watch from other places because they're a part of our community now as well. And hello, Wendy. And it's so great to know that our community has expanded during these strange and difficult times. That's one beautiful thing that I'm taking away from this, that we now have connections with folks that we might, well, otherwise we might not have had connections with. And that is a beautiful thing. But for folks who are in other countries that are perhaps having a more difficult time than we are right now, I send you my love. I hope you're doing well and taking care of yourselves, especially for folks who might be in the States south of the border to us. Happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you're feeling comfortable and healthy and safe. And even though things are very, very difficult for you folks right now in so many interesting ways, uh, I'm grateful that you're here. And I'm grateful that we've been able to connect with you through wonderful virtual opportunities like this. Amanda, hello, Amanda. It's good to see you too. Amanda, how are you doing? How is school? Yeah, back in school. This is an exciting time for so many people for other reasons too. I'm doing okay, Amanda. I'm hanging in there. It's a glitchy kind of day, and I'm having a glitchy kind of brain to go along with it. So I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll explore today in my art. Some glitchy explorations. I'll let the glitches out and see if I can shake them loose, or perhaps have a conversation with them and learn, what they can offer me. Sometimes glitches aren't bad. Sometimes they can help, just poke things in just the right way to nudge things into a new direction. I don't know. How are you folks doing out there? I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And Shelly, thank you. Shelly letting me know frustrated with Toronto area people, who break the rules. So I think we're talking about COVID-19 rules. Why am I feeling like a radio disc jockey today? I feel a little bit like that. Oh no, I think I might be having a silly day as well, folks. So I apologize if I get a little bit giddy. Let me take a moment and have some coffee. Hey, Nye. Mm. Coffee. Beautiful, beautiful coffee. And another thing that I'm grateful for, coffee from Brew Wizards. And there are other fabulous coffee providers in our community as well, but today I'm running on Brew Wizards. So thank you. Mm. Emmett, hi, how you doing? It's good to see you here. Oh my goodness, lots of lovely familiar faces. People dropping by to say hello. That's that's amazing. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in. I don't want to spend too much time chatting like a radio disc jockey here, so why don't I get into some art making? And yeah, folks, if you're working on things at home that you'd like to share, as always, please, you can post pics here or in the show and tell we do after the live stream. Again, if you can't stay the whole time making art, that's okay. You're welcome to do what you need to do to help you have the best possible day. So maybe that is, I don't know, just listening while you do some laundry or work on some homework. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll work with some crayons to start. Good old fashioned crayons. Um, Perhaps you've I don't know, perhaps you've got your own art projects that are different. Perhaps you don't want to work with crayons, and that's okay. Hey, Barb. Oh, it's so great to see you here too. Barb says Nicole and I are here and ready to create. Love to see your lovely face. Glitchy giddy day. It is a glitchy giddy day. And I always love seeing what people are creating. So yes, please feel free to share links, pictures, whatever you like, if you want to. Please feel free to participate in the chat if that's something you'd like to do. A lot of folks, you don't need to. If you're having your own time and just enjoy being in your own little space today, that's okay. But if you do want to participate in the chat, you're welcome to. And I encourage folks that are already here, who know the living room and are familiar with it, please feel free to welcome other folks as they join as well. I might not see everyone as they either start watching the live stream. I only see folks if they comment, and even then, I might miss a few people here or there. It's just something that happens, and of course today with glitches, it might happen a little bit more. We'll see. But please feel free to welcome folks, say hi, acknowledge people, if and when you want to. But again, if you just want to be quiet and hang out where you are at and make art, or not, that's okay too. Everyone is welcome. Does that make sense? And Barb, oh, Amanda asking again, how am I? Determined, huh? Let's see, how am I? Well, let's see. Let me do a little bit of this, and I'll show you how I am. And Shelley leading the way. Thank you, Shelley, welcoming everyone. See, that's the kind of stuff I love. Community, welcoming community. We're so lucky. How many amazing people do we have within this community, within the virtual community, that can help, make people feel at home in times where it's not always easy to feel at home. Oh, crayon, crayon, crayon. So how am I? Yeah, Amanda, I'm going to start, and I'm going to perhaps color out how I'm feeling. Hey, Culture Count City of Oshawa. Oh my goodness, we're joined by the big creative folks today. It's so great to have you here. Welcome. And I think someone from your team might have called me right as I was starting the live stream, so my apologies if I couldn't answer. It was one of those things where everything was happening at once, and I'd actually forgot to turn off the ringer on my phone. So thank you. That reminded me as well. So let's see. Scribble, scribble, scribble. That's where I'm going to start. How am I doing today? I'm just going to take this opportunity to make a mark. Put some color onto the page. Because those empty pages can sometimes be a bit intimidating. And there are days where I come into the live stream and I know exactly what I want to do. Hey, Janet, welcome. Oh, you sent me a message. Okay, I've got to, I'm a little bit behind on the messages. I'm trying to catch up bit by bit as I go. Especially I have to say thank you to everyone out there who's been sending beautiful, a lot of people sharing their heart with me about the studio, about, their appreciation for what it gave them, what it provided for them, or perhaps people sending ideas about what they want to do in the future. Thank you, Janet. I know I am busy, and strangely, even though the space has closed now, there's still a lot of busyness happening. I'm sure a lot of folks out there can relate to that sense of things have both slowed down and got really busy all at the same time. Does that make sense? Does it? I don't know. And Amanda, good eye. I did cut my hair again. Sometimes, we've talked about this on the live stream before, about how, using self as canvas and, everything from painting your nails, doing makeup, cutting your hair, that kind of thing, wearing new kinds of clothes. I am tempted one day to show up here in costume just because I can. Why wouldn't I? Right? Just waiting for the right inspiration to come. But I thought as the winter is coming in, I wanted to get ahead of it, and who knows what lies ahead for us. I'm definitely going to keep on. Well, I want folks to be safe, and I want my family to be safe, and I want to be safe. So I thought I will go and I will get my hair cut now, and just in case there are days and times where I can't move around as easily. You know what I'm saying? So I got ahead on that, and I asked. This is literally what I asked the lovely folks at Wildvine Hair to do. I said, please make me look like a mad scientist. And this is kindly what they did. Oh wow. Well, there's lots of beautiful comments and everything like that. But yes, okay, I'm going to loop back and visit a couple of conversations that I started and let drop. So I revisit the thank you for the messages people have been sending. Thank you for the support people have been showering. And sometimes when comments like that are coming in and messages like that, it takes me a little longer to respond because I want to respond thoughtfully. And I appreciate it so much. And like every process of um, letting go of the studio space, and there's a kind of recovery process that is happening with that. It's both recovery and re-envisioning. So a little bit of, and grief is too strong a word to use here, considering all the different things that so many people have lost during this time and people that have been lost during this time. But it's a big change, and it forces me in a healthy way to look at the future and examine, what do I want for myself? What do I want to do with this project? How do I want it to move forward with the community? What kind of community am I hoping for? I'm curious to learn about what kind of community you're hoping for as we move forward. So there's a lot to be learned here. And I'm taking my time to examine and reflect and not do what perhaps I used to do, which is take on too much all at the same time. I don't know about you, and perhaps this is another conversation we can have. When do you feel most creative? That's the question I might pose, because I know, and I'm discovering and rediscovering, that I feel most creative when I have downtime, when I have dream time, when I have opportunities to daydream and reflect and just explore and experiment with things. If I'm busy all the time, if I'm constantly moving, constantly hustling, for me personally, like, interesting things still happen, but I miss that quality of innovation, the kind of, I don't know, that for me, that's such a huge part of creativity. The new things, the sparks that can't always occur if they're being smothered by other things that are happening. So I'm making time and I'm taking things slow, which includes responding to messages. That's a very, very long-winded way of me saying, I'll get back to you, folks. I'm doing my best. And if you don't hear from me, message me again. Send me another message. Send me an email. I'm checking my emails every day, and that is something I'm working through. So if you're sending a message through Facebook and I'm not responding, try the email. It all comes to me. And let's say Emmett says, I feel most creative after I watch a YouTube video of another artist going through their drawing process. Emmett, yeah, I totally can relate to that experience. I've had opportunities to do a little research and just explore what are other people doing out there in the magical land of interweb. And yeah, it's lovely to watch someone else create and then perhaps have that moment where you think, I love that, and then you build off of it. I think, I think there's a lot of truth to that idea of there's nothing new under the sun. Also, the idea that, all great artists steal. The sense that we like, we're all drawn to the familiar. We're drawn to the things that resonate with us. But when we add to it or twist it and add in something of our own to that experience, whether it's a creative process or a way of engaging or anything, I think that's when something really beautiful and magical begins to happen. And we're so lucky now that we have YouTube as a resource, because once upon a time it was only books, and I do love books as well. I've been revisiting some of my favorites, and some books that I've had hanging around forever that I just haven't had a chance to dive into. Filling a page with color. Folks, if you don't know what to do and that page is staring at you all empty, a little bit scary, I just invite you to fill up a page with color. Doesn't have to make sense, doesn't even have to look good. Just go with your guts and fill it with color. Color, shape, line, texture. I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing you can do for yourself. to allow something to come out rather than placing great expectations to create a product. And again, thank you to my Instagram artist guest yesterday in the live stream, talking with Studio Sidra, about that very thing, about, what happens in between the inspiration and the product. And I think oftentimes we put such heavy, hard, big expectations on ourselves to produce. We lose sight of what it takes to create. Does that make sense? Who's your favorite YouTube artist right now, Emmett? And if anyone else has other favorite YouTube people, let me know. And you know what? The inspiration to create as an artist, regardless of like what modality or medium you create with or through, it doesn't always come from that same, like a person expressing themselves in the same way, which is interesting. I think I find myself being inspired by so many things these days. People speaking honestly and from the heart. I think that's one thing I love about YouTube. It's opened up a new way of communicating. That in this time in particular, I think may have changed how we engage culturally for at least, well, I was going to say for the future, forever. I don't know if forever, but I feel like what YouTube has taught a lot of the kind of, hey, Laura? Oh, thanks, Laura. Thank you. It makes sense. Yay! I don't know if anyone else has noticed when everyone was forced online to engage through YouTube or virtually or, shooting things from home, there was a new intimacy, a new relatability that kind of crept into everyone's work, regardless of who you were. And that is something I love, and that is something that I think culture can thank YouTube artists for, or people who present or share their work on YouTube or share themselves on YouTube. It's a direct way of connecting and kind of like something honest and open, something differently honest and open. Because yes, there's YouTube artists there who spend so much time framing and preparing, and everything is just so. You're not always seeing authentic in the moment creation, but definitely something. There's an intimacy there, a dialogue right back and forth between the viewer and the person who's on the other side. And Emmett says, oh, great, sharing things. Love it. Emmett says, I like Lavender Town. Oh, and I recently discovered Rin Spirit _art. I will have to check those out. Thank you. And they both have very unique drawing styles, says Emmett. Emmett, what style do you like to draw in? I was wondering this about myself the other day. I don't know if I have a style per se. Doodle style, untrained hand, the school of the untrained hand. That's just a fancy way of saying I do stuff. Slow drawing, something I love and I'm learning more about every day. So Amanda, this is how I'm feeling. I don't know if I can put words to it right now. Gosh, I love crayons. And Barb saying, Barb says, I'd like to make word clouds. Use a dictionary or thesaurus to learn a new positive word and draw around it. What a fantastic creative spark. That is a great way to get going. Okay, I'm going to give that a go on my next warm-up. What do I have here? I do have brought back from the studio a whole bunch of these lovely encyclopedias, old school dictionaries, encyclopedias, different things that are perhaps out of date now. And they were on their way to the dump and someone donated them to us and I'm so glad they did. So in the future, I'd like to make some repurposed books with these. I'm also going to be using some of the pages to create, I think, some lovely holiday cards in the next few weeks because I'd like to stay in contact with people, and snail mail is a great way to do that. And every year I've always said I want to send out cards to people and I never do. This year, maybe I will. No pressure, Mary. And Laura says, I have a rather sketchy style. So we're talking about styles here. Both meanings, lol. So sketchy, yes. So like that lovely kind of free-handed, uh, just the short stroke lines to create the image. Is that what you mean when you talk about the sketchy, the many lines over one? I do love that look. And Shelley says, I love drawing pictures and adding positive words or phrases. So Barb and Shelley, those are two excellent, like those techniques can be put together actually. If you choose a word at random that perhaps brings you joy or helps you feel grounded, or a word that, I don't know, signals relief or positivity, and just not think about it too much and then start drawing around that word on the page and see what images and symbols come out of it, or perhaps what other words come out of it. That's fascinating. All right, so I'm going to open up this dictionary. I'm going to learn a word. We'll see if it's a positive word, or I don't know what's going to happen right now actually, but let's just give it a go and see. Iran. That's a big word. It's not that it's not positive, but I'm going to see if I can find something. Indiana ballot. Oh, maybe an encyclopedia isn't such a good book to draw from. Imperialism, impatient, impeachment. Okay, we got the eyes here. What's happening? Italy. Let's see. Yeah, finding a positive word. There's a lot in an encyclopedia. It's not about that, is it? Let's see what I find. Let me just. Okay, enough, Mary. I'm just going to point at something, and then what's around there. I'll see if I can find something around there. Okay. Investment. Investment. That's the word that, okay, interesting. Investment. And I see Emmett saying, replying to Laura, I'd love to see some of your art sometime. And Emmett, Laura has definitely got a beautiful style. There's so many different ways Laura creates. All right, here we go. So Barb, let's see. Word cloud. So I'm going to, but instead of using, I'm going to use a Sharpie. Let's see. Invest. And I think you can, Emmett, if you'd like, and Laura, if you don't mind me saying this, you can find Laura's work at ByLB. BYELLEB, like a bumblebee. Invest. What happens if I... That's an interesting word. Obviously, I think of money right off the bat. But it's not just about money, is it? If you guys want to choose your own word, if folks want to choose their own word and see where it goes. Let's see. Money, support. What are the other things that come to me when I think about invest and investment? Investing. Investing in self. And then I think of love. So this is moving into a stream of consciousness thing, which I kind of like. Growth. Savings. Future. Vision. I'm thinking green, which could have to do with money, but I think it also has to do with growth. And what will I do with this? I don't know if this is exactly what you were working on, Barb, but I am interested to see where this goes. Purpose. Momentum. Planning. Oh, there's a word here that I'm trying to figure out. Oh, yes, and Laura, so confirming, yes, ByLB, and drawings. That's true. Drawings in the living room coloring books. I I forget about those sometimes, but there are these two extraordinary volumes of work that we've created together where we asked and invited community members to contribute and essentially donate coloring pages that they created. The first book, which I think is still on sale at the Robert McLaughlin Art Gallery, so you can still find the first version, the first edition of the Living Room Community Art Studios coloring book at the RMG in their gift shop there. Makes a lovely Christmas gift. And we have obviously copies of the second coloring book, which was on the theme of hope. So artists from all over contributed images that somehow to them spoke to the idea of hope, or what their vision of hope was. Hope for the future, hope for themselves, hope for community, hope for the world. There's so many different ways to interpret that. Oh, excellent. Sean, thank you. Sean saying, hi, Sean. Saying, could invest include non-monetary definitions? Absolutely. For example, we invest in each other, we invest in community. And that is so true. And that's where some of this is coming from. Money is only one element, but I think when I talk about vision, and even when I talk about, savings and, movement, hope, momentum, planning, all of these things have as much to me to do investing as in like investing in ourselves, investing in one another, investing in the future. Future is already there, but I think it's worthwhile putting it again. Investing, I think, not that there's anything wrong with, financial saving, obviously, but I think knowing that we are as worthy of investment as anything else in our lives. Our communities are worthy of investment. What am I going to do here? I think what I'll do is I'm just going to color in around because I can. Investing in people, investing in perhaps concepts too. Anything that might bring about that change, bring about growth, bring about greater understanding and connection. But thank you, Sean. Absolutely. And I'm glad this word came out. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff there. Yeah. And Laura definitely saying, yay, invest, future planning, planting, growth, harvest, earth, everyone. Beautiful. I'm going to add, I'm going to harvest those words from you, Laura. I think harvest. And then together, and then what do we have here? And then making, I think, too. Let's see what. Let's see. Laura says, seed collection, sharing, needs met, care. All of those beautiful things are investment. That reminds me, I don't know, I can't remember who it was. If someone watched this as well, please remind me of who this was. They were talking about economy and the idea of, why we're doing what we're doing right now, why the world is trying to do what they're trying to do right now. And just revisiting that point that Shelley had too, let's say, how do we say this? The uncomfortable feelings many of us, including myself, might be having with folks who are resistant to, doing what perhaps needs to be done to save one another, to keep one another healthy, to keep our systems as much as we can. The systems that keep us alive moving forward. Oh, bye, Emmett. Emmett has to leave for a while. Have a wonderful day, everyone. You have a wonderful day too. And I'll see you soon. The idea of economy is not about money. Economy is about humans, because without one another, there is no economy. Without people, we don't have anything. So that idea of, business first. No, we have to put people first, as difficult as that is, because without people, we don't have business. And even with the difficult decisions that we've had to make at the living room, that's the bottom of it. Without people, there's no need for things like the living room. There's no need for businesses. Healthy economies are built on healthy communities. And that is what we're all kind of fighting for right now, I think. It might be difficult for some folks to hold on to that because there's a lot of fear of the unknown. There's a lot of fear of what if this fails? What if it doesn't work? I think a lot as far as business and making the changes with the living room that we've made. I've been thinking about friends in the restaurant industry and how volatile, even in the best of times, that industry can be. And yet even, with the lifetimes of relatively short lifetimes of restaurants, and folks who've been in that industry, you probably can relate to what I'm saying. Even as volatile as that world is, as difficult and challenging as that world is, it is also such a resilient world. And the friends I have who are chefs who work in that industry, there is a sense of, this doesn't work, we try something else. What isn't happening right now is only not happening for right now, but it will be back. It will be back. And it will be better, it'll be more vibrant. We just have to support one another through this time, right? But hey, why did I get off on that tangent? Oh, invest. Healthy communities are made of healthy people. Healthy economies are made of healthy communities. Oh, wow. Where is my head at today? And here I thought I was going to be giddy. And I do have to thank folks who are, I guess this is a moment where I can thank all the folks who are supporting the living room still. There are lots of lovely people out there who support us on Patreon, who support us through Canada Helps. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you for doing that. Thank you. I know this is a difficult time financially for everyone. And if folks need to change their donation levels or their support levels, their subscription levels, I will always understand. Even in the best of times, I will understand because life happens. But if you're out there and you're listening and you're one of those folks who has been kind enough and generous enough and amazing enough to support us in one of those ways, thank you. It is enormously helpful during this time. So helpful. So very, very helpful. So thank you. I know not everyone can, so that's okay. And things change, and I will always understand that. But a huge thank you to the folks who have been able to do that so far. It means more than you know. And I wish it was easier for me to thank everyone in the ways that I would like. On that note, too, I want to welcome anyone who might be tuning into the live stream midway through, I suppose, around about now. Welcome. This is just a time where we hang out and make art. Experimenting with the kind of word cloud stream of consciousness thing. Now I feel like writing. And it is the National Month of Novel Writing. If you didn't know that already, folks. But if you're tuning in, you're welcome to make art, whatever kind of art you want. It doesn't have to be whatever I'm doing. You're also welcome just to listen or watch. You're welcome to participate in the chat if you feel up to it. But if you can't, if it's just not your thing today, that's all right as well. Just an opportunity to connect, to be a part of that creative energy that's coming from everyone in the community, collectively. And as always, I'm always interested in learning about what you're working on out there. So if you have things you want to share, you can share them after the stream in the show and tell, or you can put them in the chat right here. And let's see. Oh, lovely. So Barb has shared enchantedlearning.com has a positive word vocabulary list. Vocabulary list. That's an interesting word to say. Just reading the words makes you smile. That's lovely. So learning, is it enchanted? No, it's learning.com, a positive word vocabulary vocabulary list. I think I will visit that later on. Thanks so much for sharing that, Barb. That's just a lovely thing to look at if you're having a rough day and you need to shake things up. To have a moment where you can expose your brain. I suppose that's what you were saying. That was what you were suggesting. That's one of the things you do for that self-care is just look up a new word every day. And it would be interesting to see. I'm sure we're all very good. I'm sure we can access all the negative words very easily. It'd be an interesting experiment. Like you're suggesting, Barb, to see how many words are we not familiar with? How many positive words have we've not just, I don't know, we don't access on a regular basis, and why? So invest. This is a really interesting thing too, because this is a great page to kind of put in the art journal or just a regular journal and revisit from time to time, to build off of, perhaps to spark off other ideas. I'm loving it. Oh, and Sean saying, oh, thank you. Sean says, thank you for making this virtual. I would not have been able to meet such great people had it not been virtual. Sean, thank you. I feel exactly the same way. So thank you for being here. Thanks to everyone who comes out, participates, whether you join the chat every week or not, that doesn't matter. Just being here and like making ourselves available to one another in an interesting way. I think there's something comforting about this for me. There's something very safe. You know, I can be in the worst mood. I can feel like everything is falling apart. And yet when I come here to spend time with you folks, I'm instantly lifted and I feel instantly connected, even though we're not together sharing space in a physical way. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Sean, for saying that. And I reflect that right back at you, because without people joining me here, it would just be me talking to myself. I mean, I do that all the time, but every once in a while it's, you know, it's nice to have people to respond to. So, lovely, interesting things. So far, red, red and blue, and purple and pink. Some interesting things. I'm going to put that aside. And let's see. Last week was Adventures in Needle Felting. Right now I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll continue to play with the crayons. But I have a whole bunch of this cardboard lying around. It's very thin cardboard, and I'm imagining that folks might have something similar wherever you're at. You might have, like, this is kind of the cardboard that cereal boxes are made out of, like that kind of thing. So I'm wondering what I can do here. What can be done with this? And as I was mentioning before, sometimes I come into the live streams with ideas, very clear ideas of what I want to create. But today, not so much. It's more a case of what's lying around. So let me take one of my project boxes. Dusty lid. Let's see what I got here. I was revisiting some cardboard craft times. I would be interested to know if anyone out there has started making holiday gifts yet. That's an interesting thing, huh? Let's see. All right. What am I making? I don't know. It's exciting. see. Hello, ruler. Now I always forget that essentially I'm working my mat here is a lovely giant grid. I could be referencing it much more than I do. But for the purposes of today, I'm not going to be too precise about anything. When am I ever precise about anything? Oh, Barb. No, it's now Nicole. Oh, Wendy. Okay. Oh, comments. Okay, Wendy saying making fleece mittens as I'm watching you. Oh, lovely. So fleece, sewing fleece, knitting with fleece. More details, please. It's that time of year. I don't know. There might be folks listening or watching in areas that are nice and toasty warm right now. But definitely here in Oshawa, things have gotten a little chilly of late. And we had our first big snowfall last week, and then it melted away. And then this past weekend, snow that actually stayed on the ground. And it was kind of nice. As long as you know, if you're someone like me, lucky enough to have a place to be, warm, warm clothing, all that stuff. It's quite lovely. What am I doing? Will I see this? Let's see what happens. What does this look like? Huh. Why not? And then, oh, so Wendy's sewing with plaid fleece. Love, love, love it. And then Nicole saying, oh, Nicole's finishing a knitted snowman for Christmas while watching this. How lovely. Yep. All the gifts beginning to emerge. All the... What am I doing? I've got some Sharpies here. I think the title of today's virtual art hive should be, What Am I Doing? With Mary Cronert. And that can be taken in so many ways. There's the, what am I doing? And then there's the, what am I doing? Right? At least once a day, I have that moment with myself. What am I doing? Yeah. Again, the winging it, just winging it can be quite lovely. A nice reminder to self, who am I trying to impress anyways? Creating for ourselves, creating because we can. It's such a lovely thing. I spent most of my morning today doing admin for the living room. It's that time of year. It's AGM time for us. It's, executive director reports and looking at numbers and strangeness, pandemic strangeness as demonstrated through data. Yeah. So my head's been in computers all day, computer land. So this is nice. And it does remind me a little bit of kind of an art attack kind of vibe. Like, what happens if? What if you only had a piece of cardboard, some Sharpies, and a pair of scissors to work with? What would you do? I do love the smell of Sharpies. And I know these aren't Sharpies. They're just, lovely markers. They're Bic markers, actually, which I'm finding they're just as nice as Sharpies. I don't mean to throw any shade on Sharpie. If you're out there, massive corporation, feel free to send us Sharpies. We can share them with the community. Bic, same to you. And Shelley, welcoming everyone again. Hope everyone is having a good day. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you for that. And that includes the folks who are watching after this has been archived, too. Because I realize not everyone is available during the day. Not everyone can hang out and create with us during the day. So if you're watching this later on, if you, perhaps it's late at night, perhaps it's after dinner for you, or perhaps it's in the morning, in the middle of the night, and you're taking a moment to watch and catch up, connect with community, thank you. You're a part of our community, and it means a lot that you're taking time to be with us. And I like to think that I can still feel that energy as well. That creative energy that comes from knowing that this has a life longer than the hour and a half we manage to spend with one another once a week. Hopefully that will change in the new year. Hopefully there will be more of this kind of thing coming your way. Just going to do what we can with what we have for now. Take care of ourselves. And who knows, I'm you know, the new year could be quite eventful for a lot of us out there. You never know. So this time, if you do have downtime, or if this is considered downtime for you, take advantage of it. Give yourself permission to just be here and create. Play. Yeah. Play is important. What am I doing? Let's start there. Oh, lovely. And checking in with one another. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And Shelley's saying, this is a great way to end your busy day if you can't be here now. Welcome to all who watch after this video is over too. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Laura's saying, I saw an idea for oh, excellent, for a cardboard Xmas tree. We'll be making some for the front window. I'll share a pic when done. Yes, please. I imagine where you are, Laura, that they're beginning to roll out the window decorating ideas. Because you have a neighborhood that is quite lovingly involved in that kind of thing. Just really, you know, I think even before the pandemic, you were mentioning that you lived in a neighborhood where people would decorate or put artful things in their front windows just because they could. Then, of course, that became one of the main canvases, the main connection points creatively for folks in community. So I'd love to know. I'd love to be kept up to date. Is anyone else out there? If your neighborhoods are doing like lovely window stuff like that, please feel free to share as well. Of course, now is also a time for lights, which can be its own kind of creative endeavor. I know for myself, I love light, and I love when people take the time. Not everyone can, I realize, but if you do, like anyone, any little thing, you know, that helps bring light to the neighborhood, doesn't have to be a huge thing. But I appreciate every time I see a string of fairy lights going up, or someone hauling out a wicker Rudolph. These are all interesting ways of reminding one another that we count, that we can still be seen and heard. Or, you know, just reminding one another that we matter. Those community gestures count. Again, not everyone can, not everyone has the resources to do so, but for the folks who do, I so appreciate it. And Laura's saying, oh yeah, yep. And Laura says, yes, all the weirdo creatives. Laura, all the weirdo creatives are less weird now. It's an interesting point that, like, I'm hoping, I'm hopeful that when, moving through this and coming out of this, we've begun to appreciate the creatives in our community a little bit more. We've begun to appreciate the people who, take that risk of perhaps stepping outside the norm, being seen in a different way, not being afraid to stand out, because those moments actually help, personally, my brain keep afloat these days. Those wonderful, odd little moments that remind me that we're all individuals, we're all unique, we're all living our different lives, but alongside one another. So moments that make me smile, moments that make me think, moments like all of those little things, whether it's someone dressing in an interesting way, or with a super colorful mask, or someone putting something in their window, or, like all of these things are beautiful. And I think for anyone who's been relying on, TV or movies or films, sort of going into that world to do a little bit of escape at the end of the day, or just to help you through, we appreciate that thing so much more now than we did before, when it was just everywhere all the time. We're beginning to realize, I hope, that arts and culture, in all the forms it comes in, is an integral part of our health and well-being, that we need those things to make meaning of what we're going through and to bring joy and pleasure to our lives. And without those artists, without those wonderful weirdos to step outside that, the normal box, so to speak, life is just boring, and it goes by so quickly, and nothing, just, monotonous. Artists break that monotony up, and that's a beautiful thing. And then Nicole again through Barb's Facebook. My friend has decided to hang Christmas lights on her indoor plants since she has a bunch of large ones. Absolutely. Yeah, why not? We used to hang the lights on at the studio. Do you remember that? So this would be a beautiful time of year for that alone. Folks who maybe weren't familiar with coming into the studio space, we had lots of fairy lights hung up throughout the year. There are things we'd light up if we had concerts in the studio space, things like that. Can I do that? I think I'll need to do that. But around this time of year, when things get a little dark, right? The shadows begin to play up a little more. We'd turn them on during the day. We'd have them on all day, some days when it was glum, like gray or rainy. And just light. It's a beautiful thing. Just a beautiful thing that lifts the spirits. Angel coming into the mix. Hello, Angel. Thank you, Shelley, for saying hi. Thanks for everyone who's joining the live stream today. It's a what am I doing kind of day. Just letting things happen. And actually, Angel's a fantastic artist for that. Angel creates from the heart, from the soul. A very spiritual creator, I think it's fair to say. I have days, different kinds of days where I create differently. Today's a kind of splat day. And yet even within the splat, this is still, it's got form, it's got structure, which is interesting for me, I think. Let's see, what do I want from that piece right there? Well, let's just make some shapes. Boop. And Crystal, hello Crystal, so nice to see you too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Maybe that should go there. And Shelley saying, I have a miniature Christmas village and a light up snowman village. See, light is so, oh, what a beautiful thing. Yeah, any way you can, any way that feels right, within the resources that you have, bringing a little bit of light into your house. the same as bringing in a tree, I suppose, and it doesn't have to be a real tree. You know, traditions are one thing, but I think one of the things that helps me through around this time of year when things get gray, when the days are dark, especially days where maybe my day doesn't change too much, depending on what I'm doing. My scenery doesn't change. Change the scenery, bring in something new, rupture that, hang some new art, play some new music, create a new tradition for yourself, a new ritual that helps break up the monotony if you need to. If things are monotonous for you, perhaps all you need is some peace and quiet and sameness in your life. If where you're working is exciting. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Oh, the puppies. So Crystal's saying hello. Shelley's saying hello to Crystal, asking about the puppies. Oh, lovely. Lovely puppies. Yeah, give all the puppies a hug for us. And Crystal saying, I am working on Christmas t-shirt orders. All right, Crystal, you can't just leave it there. What kind of orders? What kind of Christmas t-shirts are you making? Inquiring minds want to know, and perhaps there might be folks here who'd like to order one as well, if that's what you're doing, if it's open to people to order from you. Feel free to share that out there. There's so many amazing creators in our community, and I wish I had time to feature everyone. I think I will start doing little homages to people in the weeks ahead. Folks who've participated in Handmade with Heart before and things like that. But don't be shy. If you're creating something, working on something, selling something, this year is really difficult for a lot of makers. We know that, right? So share your stuff. Post the links here. And Crystal's saying we had no power all morning. Yep, and realized how much we really depend on electricity. Yeah, absolutely, huh? I remember, but how many years ago was it? Folks out there might remember the ice storm that we had. Oh, lovely. So Crystal's Quality Custom Creations. Thank you so much for sharing that. So people, check it out. Get creative and support local artists and makers if you can this year. I know, we're, it's, I'm not going to judge you if you order off of Amazon, of course. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not the boss of you. But if you can be there for another artist, another maker, let them know. Let them know how much you love their stuff. Order if you can. Custom, do a commission. Pick up something small even. I don't have a lot of money myself this year, but I've been really into stickers. And there's a lot of makers doing really cool things with stickers this year. And I thought, you know what? That's something I can afford. I can afford a sticker pack. I can do that. So even the small things help. You may not be able to spend a lot of money, but the small things really make a difference. The small little investments that remind people that you're there, that remind them that you know them, that you're thinking of them. And let's see. And Laura says, I need to pick up my little fairy light from school. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she is a fairy light. She is the brightest part of your day. Oh, take care, everyone, Laura says. Laura, have a wonderful day and say hello to that little one for me. And you're absolutely right. They are a bright light in the world. So give them a hug for me and say hello. Absolutely a bright light. And Shelley, Crystal's Quality Custom Creations, exactly. And Shelley saying, if you want good quality, you want Crystal's Creations. Oh my gosh, look at the two of you working together. That is amazing. That's some good promotion there. And Mike, hello, Mike. That looks neat, Mike's saying. And Mosaic, yes. Playing with cardboard, just some simple cardboard. Similar to the quality of a cereal box kind of thickness, and just using a Sharpie to color the one side. It's actually really nice. I don't know if you can see it right now. Let's see if I can do a close-up. The cardboard, when you color it with the Sharpie, actually it has its own grain within it that it reminds me a little bit of wood. yeah, I'm liking this. I think I'm going to be playing more with this idea of cardboard and just simple colored cardboard. This might be a pendant. Uh, sometimes I feel like wearing giant chunky jewelry. It reminds me of being an art therapist, or that, who was it who posted this? I think it might have been Laura, actually. More along, it reminds me of all the fabulous art teachers I've had in my life. And for some reason, they did all seem to wear giant chunky jewelry. So perhaps this is my homage to all the art teachers in my life. um, so we'll see what this looks like. We'll see what happens here. But I do like this idea, the cardboard collage mosaic. And super fun to experiment with other things, perhaps even like holiday bunting, like those little beautiful flags you might put up, celebratory messages put into them, custom messages for friends. Perhaps you know someone who needs a bit of a boost and would benefit from a message. Oh, maybe, shall I? Let's see. Let's try that. If I had a more mathematical brain, and I know there are some of you out there who do. Yes, I'm talking to you, you engineers, you people who code, all of the people with the math brains. I'm impatient. I might have a math brain, but I don't really use it very often. And that is what happens. I become impatient. I learn by doing. So mosaic time, but you could probably work, a lovely way to cut these shapes to size. You could make another shape exactly like this and cut that into smaller pieces that could fit within the shape. I could have used that piece over there to do that. The sensible things you realize as you're doing something, the discoveries that happen along the way. All right, let's see. And Shelly's saying bye to Laura. Yes, have a wonderful day. And if folks have to leave right now, that's okay too. It's after 3. And if you've got little people who are getting out of school around about now, you might have to pick them up, and that is okay. Let's see. Let's do that. Or even if you just want a break, you're tired of hearing my voice, that's okay too. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. I'll still be here talking to myself. I'm talking to you folks. Let's see. And Crystal's saying, I'm going to start making my Christmas ornaments with Santa cam on them? Santa cam on them. And 2020, the year we stayed home. Yeah, it's I saw a fun t-shirt yesterday when I was catching up on Critical Role. I think Laura Bailey was wearing it. It was a sweatshirt that had Camp Quarantine on it. And of course, things are very different for folks in the States. But it made me smile to think there's still room for levity, even in extreme situations like that. I think humor is such an important part of staying healthy, of feeling resilient. Oh, here, let's change that shape a little bit. How do I want to change that? What would we do if we weren't able to smile or joke about what we're going through? Or in some cases, what we're not going through. And Shelly's already putting her order in now. So, Crystal, when you create those, if you come back next Wednesday and you want to post some pictures of those ornaments, so we know what those look like, that would be great. Because I think there might be quite a few people who would enjoy some of those. And one day, this will be an extraordinary story that we tell. It's, I think, really impossible to imagine that right now, but this is weird, right? What we're experiencing is odd. There's no two ways around it. And one day there will be time to reflect and maybe even laugh. I don't know about the whole thing, but whether we laugh or not, I think we will honor this time one way or another, and there will be so many things we learn from this time. What happens if? What if? The magical art question of what if. And on that note, if you are like myself, today started out as a glitchy giddy day. And just a reminder to folks, again, I'm not the boss of you. You know how to take care of yourself better than anyone else out there. But these are not normal times. And if you're feeling that anxiety, if you're feeling that tiredness, perhaps, that comes from feeling constantly anxious, but not necessarily knowing what to pin it on, I think that is quite a normal feeling roundabout now. Feeling that sense of anxiety. It's just a general anxiety that comes from living with this uncertainty and the lack of spontaneity, I suppose. That's a normal thing to feel. But again, if it feels overwhelming, if you feel like that is taking too much of a toll on you, reach out. Reach out for those supports. Call a friend. Find a way to shake things up to provide that relief for yourself, that healthy kind of grounding that you need to take a breath, to remind yourself that we're going to get through this. This isn't a forever kind of thing, right? No, I got to change that shape. But if you're feeling that anxiety, you're not alone. All right, let's see. Oh, lovely. So Shelley's saying, I have a Christmas ornament from 1974 to 2020, the years I lived in Bowmanville, Oshawa, and Pickering. So every year, a new ornament. Is that what you mean? To sort of recognize those times and places in your life? I am big on that myself. I appreciate a good I was going to say ritual. I do appreciate a good ritual, a good tradition. I love those markers. I think that's what it is. Finding ways of marking certain occasions within our lives. We don't always have the money to do them in a grand way, but when we can, how lovely. Like those small things. I think it's something that our ancestors have done as well. I'm thinking of those spoons. I don't know if anyone else has a collection in their life or in their family's life, a collection of tiny teaspoons, just the ways we mark things. It's fascinating and fun, the things we collect over time to remind ourselves of where we've been, who we are, the things we've been through, the things we've enjoyed. Take some time, yeah. I mean, what a lovely idea to take some time to create something to honor something that has brought you joy, that has brought you pleasure this 2020. Yeah? Yes, it's been fascinating. Fascinating is not the word, is it? But take some time to create something that means something to you, that perhaps represents the lovely stuff as well as the weird, difficult, challenging stuff. Because I guarantee for everyone out there, there's been something beautiful. You might need to take some time to think about what that was, because it's not always apparent, and our brains don't always recognize the beautiful stuff right away, because we're kind of hardwired to recognize the difficult stuff, the stuff that might, keep us healthy, keep us safe, all that kind of stuff. But for each one of us, I guarantee there's been something extraordinarily beautiful that has also occurred this 2020. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of like, you know, people who are very happy to say goodbye to this year. And I am not the boss of you, as you know. But if I might invite you to consider, to reflect, to dig deep, take a moment and ask yourself, what went well for me this 2020? What worked for me? What helped make things go right? Who helped things go right? There's going to be something really beautiful and gorgeous, something delicious in that experience that you're going to be able to take with you. So I invite you to consider that and maybe make something to honor that as well, or create an ornament to honor that for your tree. Right? Why not? And Shelley's saying, oh, lovely. The ornaments that you collect are all homemade ornaments. That's even better. And Barb saying, I'm going to create a gratitude. Here we go. A gratitude advent calendar, a special memory or picture behind each door. Barb, yes, that's amazing. I might steal that. Okay, Culture Counts, City of Oshawa, if you're listening, I think that's what I'm going to do for the Brighton Merry Market this year. Barb, I will credit you 100%. But what a beautiful idea. That's a really great idea. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to plant that. I'm going to put that in all the metaphors, all the analogies. I'm going to put that in my brain pot, and I'm going to let it stew, and I'm going to see what comes out of that experience. All right, so I have my weird little mosaic here. Would I wear this? I was initially thinking that this could be some jewelry, like this. Yeah? Like maybe some kind of crazy jewelry? Can I see this happening? Let's see what happens. Maybe. Actually, maybe. Yeah, maybe. So what am I going to do? Let's put some holes in this. I'm going to get my awl. This is a bookbinding tool, or at least I'm familiar with this as a bookbinding tool. It's a very sharp, pokey thing, but it's great to make holes in stuff. And 2020, Shelley says, 2020, the year of the highway with bumps. That's a beautiful image as well. It's still a journey. It's still moving forward. There's just some bumps in it. I really like that as an image. The highway with bumps, 2020. And Barb, Barb looks like you're giving me permission to steal. All right. But I will credit you, of course. And you know what? I don't know exactly how your advent calendar will look. I think the idea of advent calendars, there's a lot of different ideas out there, a lot of different types. And it could also be a really interesting project, too, to put a jar together. Folks out there, I don't know if anyone's been doing a gratitude jar this 2020. A great project to do for yourself. But I imagine a really interesting and challenging year. If you've been putting a thought or a message to yourself or a memory every day in a jar about something that you're grateful for. And then at the end of the year, some people do this as a part of their kind of New Year's rituals. You go through, you empty the jar, and you revisit everything and kind of take stock of the beautiful things about the year that has just passed. And I do know for me, there are lots of beautiful things. There's people that I've met. There's things that I've done. There's experiences that I've had that, if not for the really weird, difficult stuff, I wouldn't have had. So there's plenty to be grateful for. Plenty. And Wendy says, could work. Interesting. What? Oh, the necklace, I mean. Thank you. Thank you for that. An experiment and giant cardboard jewelry. Why not? Why not? And Shelley's saying, we have done advent calendars for adults before. $25 or $25 of small things from the dollar store. Oh, I see what you mean. Like almost like a little gift, but a grown-up version instead of a chocolate version. Not that there's anything wrong with chocolate. Come on, folks. Come on. But I see what you mean. Something a little different. Yeah, that's a really lovely thing. I didn't do this precisely, but yep, that's me. Nothing precise. And now just some thread. This won't be the final thread because I think I'll use some waxed cord and do a sliding knot, which I finally learned how to do this past year. That's something from 2020, the year I learned how to do the sliding knot. But for the time being, let's just find some embroidery thread. Little things, right? It's the little things that count sometimes. I learned how to do a sliding knot. And Shelley's saying craft stuff is better than chocolate. Oh, that's difficult. Yeah, I can't say that you're wrong. I can't disagree with that. Yeah, I can't. What about craft stuff and chocolate? Right? Right? Maybe? So let me just put this through as an example, just to sort of... Oh, that would be a great... Anyone out there wanting to do a cause box, craft stuff and chocolate? That's a good pairing. Or not necessarily a cause box, because that is the name of a company that delivers... What are the names of those? Is there a name for that kind of thing where you subscribe to receive a box of something every month? I think for me, craft stuff and chocolate would be, yeah, that'd be amazing. Maybe that's an idea for the living room in the future, if we have the capacity to do that kind of thing. Subscription boxes. Sort of what we do with our Patreon, with our folks, our supporters around twice a year. And this one is around the holidays too, where we send out... Can I do this? What am I doing? What am I doing? Running theme of today. So maybe in the future you'll see some of those coming from the living room at a larger scale. But yeah, we try to send out little perk packages to some of our supporters on Patreon just to say thank you. And plus, it's fun to get stuff in the mail. And Crystal, there's lots of exclamation marks in this. There's lots of all caps. You cannot have craft time without chocolate. I think chocolate and perhaps we could throw coffee into that mix, or tea. Oh, this would be an excellent subscription box. Coffee, tea. Let's see. Yeah, good chocolate. Shelley, absolutely. There's nothing worse than, one of those kind of waxy chocolates that doesn't have a lot of... Oh, yeah, anyways, we could go down that. We could have that conversation forever. So, okay, not the right sweater to wear, and perhaps a smaller scale. But this is kind of fun. I like this idea of collage cardboard jewelry. I'm going to revisit this in the future. This is, what I did? So, Crystal. So, Crystal says you could use your living room mug I made you in your video time. I have been. So, this was an exciting development for me in the last, in closing the studio, because I thought that I'd lost my living room mug. And today I have another mug that one of my fabulous placement students made for me as a farewell gift. But the living room mug, it was the first and only branded mug that I had for the living room. And it was so special. And I thought that I'd lost it because sometimes at the studio mugs would go walkabout. And if you've been to the living room, then you have an idea of what I mean, because sometimes people will come in, they'll grab a coffee, they'll make some art, they'll go out, maybe they'll go for a walk. Sometimes they take the mug with them, so we don't know where the mugs go. And I have a feeling that there are living room mugs, not necessarily branded, just all the lovely ones that folks donated, all over Oshawa. They probably found homes everywhere by this point. But at one point I couldn't find my living room mug and I was so sad. But then in closing down the studio and packing everything up, it had just been tucked way back on the second shelf in the back of the mug cupboard. And because I'm short, I don't always see that shelf. And I was so happy when I found it. So I have been using it. I've been using it in live streams. I think I maybe used it a couple weeks ago. When I was here, I've been using it with Zoom, some of the Zoom workshops I've been doing with the colleges. So yes, Crystal, I'm still using that mug. It is fabulous. So thank you for that. That's a little bit of a rant about mugs, but you know, when you have a good mug, it's such a lovely thing. It's such a lovely thing. All right, so what an interesting day. I think I'm really enjoying this cardboard, jewelry idea. I think you could also do this with fabric, collaging like out of magazines. In fact, one of the reasons why I collect, I love finding pictures, advertisements of jewels and gems in magazines, because one day I would like to make a cardboard necklace with those pictures of gems and, like, you know, big honkin' diamonds or emeralds, but purely out of paper, and create a necklace made out of those. I just think it'd be fun. So I'm going to revisit this idea. If you experiment or explore your own cardboard jewelry making, or pendant making, or bunting making, whatever you choose to do with it, if you'd like to share pictures, please do. It's super fun. It was really relaxing to just put the pieces together and not have to think too much. So that was lovely. I needed that kind of activity today. So thank you so much to everyone who joined. You could also do ornaments like this as well, actually. I'm thinking, for if you're, like, speaking of ornaments for trees and things like that, that would also work. Lots of ideas. Oh boy. So, folks, thank you so much for such a lovely day. Let's see, give like a final close up to this masterpiece here. Something fun for the person who has everything, perhaps a gift. I'm going to experiment with this idea. Indeed. Indeed I am. But for everyone who joined us today, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out and making art with you today. And thank you for the lovely conversation. Yes, Crystal, using a photo and cutting it up and then putting it back together. There's so many collage and mosaic work. There's so many different ways to do it. And paper mosaic is, well, it's just so much fun. I think there's so many different kinds of things you can do with it, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. You can use what you have on hand. Cereal boxes, magazines, photos. If you have a printer and you can print out images that you like, or of your friends or family or dogs or puppies or cats or ferrets or rats, whatever, you know, all the lovely people and creatures that are helping us get through this difficult time. You know, spending some time making some of those things for yourself is such a lovely thing. And I'm so glad that I've been able to make this lovely thing with you today. This lovely, odd thing. Yeah, who knows? And yeah, we'll see. I'm just talking to myself now. I'm getting caught up in all the ideas. But thank you for joining us. And, oh, lovely. And Barb, yes, thank you. Thank you all for a special afternoon. Please feel free to share images or links to things that you've been working on today. I'll put this in the show and tell after the live stream ends. If you're feeling a little low, if you're looking back at this year and thinking, what's this been about? Reach out, connect with someone that you love, chat to a friend, send a message to someone that you haven't seen in a long time. Just reach out, just connect. And if you're up to it, you know, you might want to follow up on that suggestion I put out there. I might do the same. I probably should. But looking back over this year and examining a time, an experience, finding that one thing that was beautiful and gorgeous and delicious that happened to you this year. Because it's not all been a total dumpster fire, right? There's been good things. And let's spend some time to recognize those good things. Like you, you're all good things. And I'm so glad that I've spent time with you today, that I've had all of these months of spending time with you. I'll be back again next Wednesday for some more virtual Art Hive time, 2 p.m. to 3:30, so tune in again then. And if you're up to it, if you have Instagram, every Tuesday I like chatting with another artist or maker from the community. Not just our community, but the community at large as well. Just to learn about who they are, what they make, what they create, why they create what they create, and how they're doing during these times. Because, I don't know, I think it's important to see familiar faces and to see new faces, to introduce one another to the people that we haven't, that we haven't had a chance to be exposed to because we've been in our homes. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, just a really casual chat, artist chat, tune in every Tuesday on our Instagram page to listen or watch that. But before I get carried away and start creating something else, A final thank you to everyone. Please be safe. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for taking care of yourselves because you take care of everyone else when you do that. And hang in there. Hang in there. You're not alone. Okay? So, what? Until we can connect and create with one another again in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with you right here, online, and all the virtual ways. Have a fabulous day, and see you all very soon. Bye! End live video.